The relationship between Russia and Ukraine has long been a focal point of regional and international attention, marked by complex historical, cultural, and geopolitical dynamics. Russia's interests in Ukraine are multifaceted and deeply rooted in historical, strategic, and economic considerations. To understand Russia's objectives in Ukraine, one must examine the historical context, geopolitical imperatives, and regional dynamics that shape its policies and actions. Historical context. The historical ties between Russia and Ukraine date back centuries, characterized by periods of cooperation, conflict, and mutual influence. Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire and later the Soviet Union for much of its history, with close economic, cultural, and political ties to Moscow. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 led to the emergence of an independent Ukraine, but it also sparked tensions over issues of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national identity. Geopolitical imperatives. For Russia, Ukraine is not only a neighboring country, but also a strategic buffer zone and a vital geopolitical linchpin. Control over Ukraine provides Russia with access to important resources such as natural gas pipelines and Black Sea ports, as well as a strategic foothold in Eastern Europe. Moreover, Ukraine's alignment with Russia or the West has significant implications for Russia's regional influence and security posture. Security concerns. Russia perceives the expansion of Western influence in Ukraine, particularly through NATO and the European Union, as a direct threat to its security interests. The prospect of Ukraine joining Western alliances, seen as encroaching on Russia's sphere of influence, has fueled Russian apprehensions and prompted assertive responses, including military intervention in Crimea and support for separatist movements in eastern Ukraine. Cultural and historical affinities. Russia also emphasizes the cultural and historical ties between the Russian and Ukrainian peoples, framing its actions as a defense of Russian-speaking populations and the protection of shared heritage. The annexation of Crimea, for instance, was justified by Russia as a means of safeguarding the rights of ethnic Russians and Russian-speaking communities in the region. However, this narrative has been contested by Ukraine and the international community, which view Russian actions as violations of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Economic interests. Economically, Ukraine holds significance for Russia as a market for Russian goods and a transit route for Russian energy exports to Europe. The integration of Ukraine into Western economic structures, such as the European Union and free trade agreements, poses challenges to Russia's economic influence and market access. Russia has sought to maintain its economic leverage over Ukraine through energy supplies, trade agreements, and financial assistance. Regional influence. Russia's actions in Ukraine are also driven by its broader ambitions to assert itself as a regional power and counterbalance Western influence in Eastern Europe. By exerting control over Ukraine, Russia aims to maintain its dominance in the region and prevent the further expansion of NATO and the European Union. Moreover, Ukraine's geopolitical significance extends beyond its borders, influencing Russia's relationships with other neighboring countries and regional actors. Conclusion. In conclusion, Russia's objectives in Ukraine are shaped by a complex interplay of historical, geopolitical, security, and economic factors. While Russia emphasizes its cultural and historical ties to Ukraine and frames its actions as defensive measures, its interventions in Crimea and eastern Ukraine have been widely condemned as violations of international law and Ukrainian sovereignty. As the conflict in Ukraine continues to evolve, the future of Russia's relationship with Ukraine and its broader implications for regional stability remain uncertain. However, understanding Russia's motivations and objectives is essential for navigating the complexities of the ongoing crisis and seeking diplomatic solutions to achieve lasting peace and stability in the region.